Hi, everyone. Welcome to the studio of the very bright light. I'm Cameron. This is Talking Simulator, and joining me remotely is Corey.
Hello.
Hello. One of these days, despite the reminders from Corey, I'm going to remember to turn on the studio lights before I go
Hmm.
live. Whew. Okay. I just, yeah, the it's like Judgment Day in here, yo. Um, how's everyone doing? Welcome to Talking Simulator.
I'm doing well. Ian just made some onigiri, some
Nope.
tuna,
Really?
Kewpie tuna. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds.
Oh, it's so good.
I believe you mean jelly donuts.
Yeah. Fresh jelly donuts.
Mmm.
They're warm and soft,
And full of tuna.
full of tuna and mayo. Yeah. And
I
he went to the store because we were out of nori, so I've got some ocha to go with it. That's like, oh, fabulous.
delicious. I there was a binging with Babish episode where he did both the onigiri from that episode of Pokemon,
Yep.
and he also made jelly donuts in that shape. Because he's like, they say they're jelly donuts. I guess they're jelly donuts. Let's make triangular jelly donuts with this nori wrap. Um. Uh. Okay. So, what are we doing this week? This week we are playing In Other Waters, which is a indie. How would I qualify this? An adventure game, I suppose. A narrative game where
Exploration, maybe?
exploration, yeah, yeah. Where you are playing the AI in a dive suit. Belch, excuse me. That is being worn by a xenobiologist who is exploring the oceans of an alien world. So, this is very cool. I've been looking forward to this game for a while, and I've been saving it for Talking Sim.
Yes.
The human you have to keep alive is very, very bright. Ellery Vass is her name, I want to say. Uh, and yeah, it's fascinating because you have the sensorium that your sensor suite allows you, much like humans do, but it's different, right? Because
uh,
you
DJ Alternative is asked, "What's our goal for start to human murder?" I don't even know if that's an option in the game. I don't know if we can be an evil AI that goes rogue and does murder. At least
I
not
yeah, no,
within the bounds of the game.
I don't yeah, I don't think that's possible. Um yeah, that's not really uh the the gist of the game at all. But let's get into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Also, we forgot to say this game is stylish AF.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. So, recovering the last known log. Sensorium disabled. User AN. There isn't any time left. This is going to be more restrictive than you are used to, but you are resourceful. I know you. I'm sorry, Oki, but I can't let them find you. I can't lose everything we achieved here. And then... garbled. User disconnected. Okay. I love the interface for speaking with your human. I've been locked out and I'm 20 meters below the surface here. I say again, this is Dr. Ellery Vaskin. Any operator personas on the suit, please respond. Hello. Operator, activate all systems. Pilot authorization granted.
Ooh.
Power. Power plant panel is activating. Plenty of juice. You'll probably want oxygen. Oxygen panel is up and rebreathe are functioning. I'm off reserve oxygen now.
Alright. Meat body doesn't need anything else to live. We're good.
Utility. Okay, utilities available. Let's see. Sampling, sample storage, terminal, and retrieval system seem to be installed. Okay, good. The dive panel is active. Current reading of 20 meters. I'm seeing the heading panel coming online. Excellent. Scan and topography readouts are coming through. Looking good.
That's cool. It looks like an orienteering setup.
Yeah, I remember this from Scouts. You don't seem to know what you're doing. You're not an operator, are you? Yes, I am. I don't believe you. Operators are little more than voice-operated dialogues. They don't respond like this. I knew there was something strange about this suit when I got inside. It looks decades old. Look, we don't have time for this, so whatever program or system you are, I need you to work with me. You seem to respond to voice commands. That's a start. We need to head north. I'll explain once we get going, but right now I'm locked out of half the systems of this suit. Someone, somehow, has rewritten the permissions to only respond to internal messaging. That means you. So I'm going to need you to take control. Let's get moving. Take me north to the reef. Please. All
Which
right.
north is north? Maybe the triangle blinky is where we want to go.
Southern gully feature. Steep rock walls rise up on the surface of the ocean to the other side. The floor is layered with pale sand. Vector clear. Good. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Let's keep heading north. I like how you can see her breathing. Narrow pass. A boulder fills the passage, blocking out the warm light of Gliese 667 cc's 3 stars.
Ooh.
Gully opening. Here the passage opens out back into the dappled light of the reef shadows.
What happens if you run her into a wall?
I don't think you can. I think you can only navigate by waypoint.
Hmm.
The softly flowing water is filled with glittering particles of organic matter. Signs of rich and thriving life are all around. And look at this. Living things. Look, in the water. Those spores and the stalks to the west. They look like they look like huge fungi. This is unbelievable. Actual alien life. How could Monet have kept this place a secret? I saw her notes at base when I landed and some telltale signs on approach, but here it is. The first extraterrestrial life humanity has ever discovered. I can't believe it. Thank you, Sakiel One. Protected by the ridges from the strong northern currents, this could be a safe haven for younger, softer species. Or beds of these creatures coat the pale rocks. Are these plants or mammals? They are unlike any earth coral or sponge.
Typical scientist, immediately distracted.
Yep. What were those creatures? They were hidden among the stalks. Quickly, try to get a scan.
Oh.
This planet needs to be studied. Keep scanning creatures and I'll keep notes.
Yeah, another situation where we have to figure out what our tools are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's handy.
Zoom in.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's one more white little flower icon. Is that another scan point?
Oh, yes. Another bed of stalks. I'm seeing a complex...
So
Oh, yeah,
the data gathered wheel is going up.
Yeah. Stalks are covered in spores of all sizes. Perhaps you can sample one of the larger ones. I'm in position. You'll have to take the sample. Open up the sampling utility.
Ah!
There we go. Fungal? Seed?
It's 5% fungal, 0% seed.
Locked in. We've got one. Biological samples are vital tools for analyzing and understanding creatures. The suit should allow you to deploy any sample back into the ocean. How about you test it out? Hold and drag it over to the central compass.
Oh.
It escaped. Great, that's working as it should. Look, those creatures are coming from the spores. Why these ones in particular, I wonder? Perhaps different spores carry different compounds, each with a specific purpose or message? What do you think? Could the spores be a way of communicating between different colonies? It seems plausible. It isn't that strange. Fungi and Earth form networks of exchange. Maybe these stalks do the same. Anyway, sorry, I'm not sure why Let's keep moving.
Yes, why are you talking to a robot lady?
Ooh. More bed of stocks. Something's being exchanged.
Oh, I think one more will do us.
Mm-hmm. Fungal creatures,
Cha-ching!
which communicate through sound and spores, an interlocking ecosystem seeded across the reef. I'm uploading my initial notes. Let's call these reef stocks. We can classify the species in the lab. I do enjoy how it gives you, like... This mechanic always interests me, where you have dialogue options, and you can choose not to answer, which is an answer in of itself. Silent clearing. What is it that dictates the reef's growth patterns? Sunlight? Flow of water? Whatever it is, it must be absent here. What are you? Agile creatures, striped with luminous colors, these flexible, flapping creatures move rapidly through the water with little effort. There's such lively creatures and so colorful too. I'll start logging my observations.
What's that?
That's the agile creature.
Ah!
Spores from the main part of the reef are brought into the southern nurseries here by a steady current. Among these spore-clogged stalks are piles of small stones. Could a creature have gathered them here, or or is it just the currents? What do you think? Spore flow or stalk patch?
Stock patch.
All right. Sampling available. Lock her in.
I'd say we keep it.
Yeah, let's keep it. These creatures appear to maneuver with a series of siphon jets concealed beneath their folded mantles. They are incredibly fast. Southern Nursery or Spore Flow?
Spore flow.
All right. Hey, can I ask you something? Sure. I've worked with AI programs before, but you aren't like them. They're predictable, programmatic, dull. Their intelligence allows them to log and process data, that's all. But you're different. I feel like you are alive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sure. No.
Command unclear.
Maybe I'm imagining things. Forget it. Another fungus. Maybe having two will be useful. Let's
Yeah.
head to the nursery. What is that?
I think he's one of the fast ones. Because it does say they communicate by sound.
Yeah. Look at them all. Flitting around the reef, these creatures chase stalk spores with great enthusiasm. Is it their primary food source?
Oh man, get some snacks on.
These creatures aggressively pursue certain spores but ignore others completely. Can they detect difference in mineral content? Soft currents. Well, let's go navigating. Oh, this is where we started off.
Oh yeah, the points we've been to show up as circles, I guess, in that view.
Yeah. Just another spore stalk. No.
Really like the iconography.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
It's like, you want triangles? Here's the triangle button. You want your dot to move to the other dot? Here's a dot moving button.
Yeah, the semiotics of the interface are really quite good. I suppose there's still something to do here because this one is still filled in.
Oh.
More sampling available. Something else?
Another friend snack.
Was there something we missed? Ah, there it is. Okay. Northern current. The current running into the reef slows here, but further north, the water whips down the rift with incredible speed. Ooh. More reef stalks.
I say go left.
Go left? Alright. Away from the long rift, towards the overgrown arch.
Yeah.
Overgrown how?
Oh, there's big dots.
Shelled creature, mobile creature with a large translucent shell and 4 swimming appendages, which it uses in rapid rowing motion. These creatures have such beautiful translucent shells. I'll start logging data on them as soon as we find them. Static creature made up of one huge flexible stalk. Unclear if swaying is due to current or if produced by the stalk's own body. Each one a vertical ecosystem. They're leaking spores into the water as the fruiting bodies attach to their skin bloom.
Fruiting bodies just makes me think of horror games.
These larger stalks sway all around this basin. They almost resemble branchless trees bending in a storm. So, the developer who made this game, Gareth Damian Martin, also publishes a magazine, a periodical at any rate, called Heterotopias. That's all about, did you see that? The stalks responded to our movement. They extended as we passed through the arch. Perhaps it was the sound we made when we moved through? should be careful not to get trapped here. The suit's power capacity is limited. C3H803 is what would that be? I've been out of school for so long.
GCU, of course, I still love
Oh.
you, says it's glucose.
Okay. Glucose, glycerol. The chitin of the stalk's membrane is very hard, but flexibility is given by the surface of overlapping plates. More reef stalks, more translucent creatures. There's a lot of activity among the rocks ahead. Creatures are grazing on and living among the stalks, forming a complex ecosystem. Well, let's go have a look. It's O3. Look, over to the southwest, that stalk is totally calcified. It looks like a good sample candidate. Oh, there's one. This stalk looks dead. Open up the sampling panel and we can extract some of the outer membrane. Lock it in. Nom 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 nom. Another oh no, this is a large stalk. It's safe to assume that the singing of these stalks relates to the communication between colonies seen elsewhere on the reef. Well, let's head over here then. The space between the rocks here is thick with stalks. The elaborate patterns they trace across the reef are beautiful. Oh, is there a second sample? There is.
Ah.
This one is unknown.
Even more fungal than before.
Chirping. Another agile creature. The relationship between these stalks and these creatures and the stalks is unclear, but they camouflage themselves among the amber colonies. The rocks here are clear of stalks and other growths. Is their absence a territorial marker or just a side effect of the condition of these waters? They closed behind us.
Whoa. That's not sketchy at all.
A large cavern drops down into the reef here. Its entrance is shadowed by the surrounding rocks. Maybe before going into the cavern, we head back. Vector blocked. Only way forward. The water is still in the yawning entrance to the cavern. The water is still in the yawning entrance to the cavern. There are no signs of stalks or other reef life around the entrance. That's probably good, right?
Yeah.
Descend. The patchy sunlight coming through the broken cavern roof is enough to allow stalks to grow here, if that is what they require. Yeah, GCU, the, Ellery reminds me a lot of the biologist from Annihilation. So far. In that she just seems like a very good depiction of a scientist.
And that she's gonna like run off alone somewhere down a tower/lighthouse.
Well, it's just like, oh, wait, these tall stalks seem to watch over the smaller colonies. I'll start logging notes. Because the biologist in Annihilation had this wonderful combination of fascination and not resignation, signal. What did we just bring on board? These gaseous bubbles are intriguing. The interior gas is at an elevated pressure. If this membrane ruptured, the sac would screech as it depressurized. Is this part of the stock communication system we've seen across the reef? Wait, I have an idea. Try deploying one by that blocked tunnel over there. I want to see how the stocks react. Just drag one over. The blocked tunnel. All right.
Oh.
Ooh. Good call, Dr. Vass. They're retracted. The bubbles must be some kind of signal system. I'll call them shrill sacs for the squeak. We can use these to get through the heavy growth ahead. Let's get moving. Yeah, the biologist in Annihilation had this really well written combination of curiosity meshed with not resignation, but comfort with the unknown.
Right.
Yes, that she is very comfortable with the idea that she doesn't need to understand everything because she's a specialist. It's not her job to be to know everything, and she kind of is at peace with that. So I guess you were wondering where we are heading. There's a way station just north of here on a finger of this reef. I want to find it. My shuttle touched down just hours ago at a floating research base to the south. That's where I found this suit. I'm here looking for a Dr. Minei Nomura, chasing a message all the way from Earth. I must sound mad, coming out here to a planet in the tail of Scorpius just to follow a message. Wait, you do know where we are, don't you? No.
No.
But
Not even a little.
how? We're on Gliese 667cc, a supposedly unremarkable world if it wasn't for all this life. Somehow this exoplanet extraction core must have passed it by, but how did Minei know to come here? Is that why she contacted me? To verify our discovery? But then, where is she? Look, let's find that way station, then I can start piecing together what's going on. Thin passage.
Oh.
The interface is very beautifully designed, but I find myself backing out of things a little often.
Mm-hmm.
Ascend.
Oh.
Stalks of this kind seem to produce different bubbles depending on the nearby stalks. They are the protectors of their colonies. Glittering stalk. Or large clearing. What do you think? I mean, glittering stock, right? Grabby hands. Gib.
Like it.
These are the signaling ones.
Okay.
So we can use these to go back through areas that have been closed off to us.
Right.
Rock outcrop. I want to go back here, I think.
Huh.
Sing stalk. Large stalks which sway, producing a distinctive hum or groan, part of the network of stalks which is found across the reef. I've named these sing stalks for that strange hum they produce. What is its precise function, I wonder? Unlike the other specimens, this large stalk sits alone away from the flower beds. It is hard to tell if this is the beginning of a colony or its end. The stalks are more sparse between these rock outcrops. This might be the easiest path north if I can clear the way. What's this if I can clear the way? Dr. Vass.
Sounds like someone's getting a little full of herself.
Where it is, as the suit, we who are full of herself. The
Can
relative
you imagine her just sitting there, like, being dragged around by an AI?
Yeah. Like, what have you done so far, Doctor?
It's
I
like
assume she's writing all these notes.
the workers in, like, Roller Coaster Tycoon or whatever. You just, like, pick them up and, like, drop them somewhere else. She's just sitting there, and then we just go, yoink!
Ah!
It's like, okay, we're going north now.
Let's loop around and see what we can find down to the south. Ooh. The growth gets heavier as we travel north into the stalk forest. Something about giving it that name makes it feel safer, more familiar. Well... This is where we were before, but there was one thing that we didn't look at because it had become closed off.
Ah, and now we have the openings.
Vector's still blocked.
What?
Huh, weird. Okay. Well, we still have another
The
one,
magic
so...
bubbles.
Yeah, the bubbles. The booblas. This interface is really gorgeous. The colors are wonderful. I mean, the bright yellow and the aquamarine really give it a feel of, like, you know, these are shallow waters, shallow sun-dappled waters.
Yeah, and there's, like, good contrast between the colors, too.
Mm-hmm. Later on in the game, this color palette changes kind of dramatically.
Oh.
Another one of the shelled creatures. What are you? A tall stalk. Some creatures target these tall stalks directly perhaps because they keep them away from the other softer stalks nearby. More signaling stalks? Yes. We have found several...
Whoa. Hello?
Hello? What was that?
Sounded like a dolphin.
Tall, bubble-producing stalks that protect and monitor stalk colonies. I'm going to call these signal stalks for the signaling role they play in the stalk ecology. Seems reasonable, Dr. Vass. Definitely seems to scatter the other life. Occasionally, when the creature scrapes the stalks too aggressively, they retract and let out a defensive signal to nearby colonies. One of the other books that the developer of this game... Actually, I don't know. Did he cite it, or is this what it reminded me of? Is an old book from the 1980s called Our Universe.
Okay.
Which, you know, it just has great space art in it, and it was kind of a staple in my elementary school. In my
Alright, I
elementary
think we
school
talked
library.
about this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's a National Geographic book, but I remember that, like, it had this wonderful feeling of, like, you know, this is what life might look like on Mars.
Don't go to Europa, it's haunted.
Yeah. And now it's in the 3rd edition. I wonder if I should order a copy. I mean, this edition is from 1995, so it's... I mean... What have we done since
Pluto's a planet.
Yeah, Pluto is a planet. New Horizons, Curiosity. God, when did Voyager go through the outer planets? Had it done that by the mid-90s?
The outer planets?
Yeah, didn't Voyager 2 do a bunch of, like... Had Cassini even been done by 95?
Oh. I feel like they hadn't even repaired Hubble.
Yeah. More bubble-producing stalks. Are they sentries designed for early warning or last-ditch defenses of the colony core? Well, let's get more of these things. Surely there's no problem with just taking all of the colony's warning signals.
Yeah.
We are full. This isn't a forest, but it carries the atmosphere of one, being immersed in interlocking natural processes of life and death. Wait, they took out all the art in the last edition? Why?
Garbage.
That was the entire... Anyway, sorry, the developer of the game, as part of the Kickstarter, made his own version of the book. Basically.
Well,
Like
get that then,
a visual
I guess.
guide for Gliese 667cc. This is the Central Reef. I saw on Manet's maps. The shelf flattens out here. Okay.
Just keep swimming, I guess.
Piled stones, a set of smooth stones sitting together in a pile. Could a creature have gathered these here? Is this a nest? Let's go and look.
Stick your hand in it.
What are you? Oh, one of the agile creatures. Another species? I've noticed smaller spotted variants of these creatures. Another species, or perhaps sexual dimorphism. These might be the males? The water beneath this outcrop feels cool, oceanic. Soft currents scrape sand from the rock face. We can go deep into the... well...
Yeah, in the open area.
yeah. Ripples of silt bounce sunlight back up through the water, giving it a golden glow. That sounds really pretty. Let's go there. The center of the reef is flat and sandy, with few rocks to attach to. The stalks struggle to seed these waters.
I think getting to the base is important. It looks like walls, right?
Yeah, there's something that definitely looks like a structure. I just want to stop here. I just want to investigate this. What is this? Twin stones. These two boulders are covered with tiny stalks, a coating of amber fur waving in the currents.
Ew.
Ah, good. Stalk scraper, a large creature with a translucent shell and jointed legs for swimming and feeding, grazes on the membranes of reef stalks. I'm naming these stalk scrapers for obvious reasons. You can check my notes back at the base. Alright, let's head to base then. This structure up here. There it is. I see the way station ahead. A way station set up by Mine Nomura. It's seen better days, but it still functions beneath the coating of stalks.
Let's hope there's gas there.
This place is looking a little worse for wear. Let me see if I can find an access port. Mine never did take care of her equipment. Some things never change. Sorry, give me a sec. I'm just trying to... Got it. Okay, we should be able to access any data stored here. Just open the terminal and take a look. Terminal available. Spoofing user, Dr. Mine Nomura. Last accessed, history cleared. Log download. Why?
Yeah, juice.
Map data. Sync complete. Data released to pilot's console. Logs have been cleared. I expected that, given the secrecy Mine seems to be operating under. But the map data mentions something Mine calls the bloom out across the northern rift. She's been going back and forth to something there, studying it, a unique species, perhaps? Mine, what were you doing here? Why were you keeping this discovery from the world, from me? I'm talking to myself again, or to whatever you are. Sorry, I don't mean... Let's head back to the research base. I need to think. With this way station operational, we can call in the base's retrieval drone from the utility panel. This drone will be able to pick us up from any area we've got map data for. Let's head to the base. I've got a lot to figure out.
Ooh, fast travel.
Request retrieve link. Drone ready. Resync with Baikal OS. Downtime 4.2 hours. Are you back online? Yes. Pretty sharp work for a biologist, if I do say so myself. Hooking up that strange casing of yours to the base took some work. And the OS here does not play nicely with whatever you are. But you should have access to select subsystems of the stack now. Monet looks to have repurposed some of them, so not everything is functional. Comms are shot, the generator is only partially working, and one of the retrieval drones is missing. But I've booted up the dive bay's mapping systems and sample storage. The lab is also online with analysis tools and an integrated taxonomy for logging creatures. Take a look, I've already logged the creatures we discovered on our last dive. For any log creatures, I'll also put sample requests in their taxonomy entries. To fulfill these requests, just find and transfer the samples to the lab, then analyze them. I can use that data to add to the creature study. We need to register these species. Head down to the lab level and take a look. I'll also mark sample requests on the dive map. That way we can grab key samples for our studies while we are out in the ocean. And we are going back out soon. While you were offline, I spotted a signal, a suit transponder. You can see its location on the dive map. I want to find it. A suit transponder means a suit, and a suit means Monet. I'll need your help. That suit takes both of us to pilot it, and it's the only one I've got. Once you are done exploring the base, load into the dive map. We can head out from there. Antenna damaged.
I want to see the lab.
Taxonomy.
Yeah, let's get all our little squishy friends in there.
Anthropelta. Stalk scraper. Stalk scrapers are large, translucent shelled creatures with a distinctive swimming motion which feeds primarily on stalk colonies, surprisingly nimble despite their size. Stalk scrapers use some of their modified limbs to swim through the water and others to scrape away the chitinous membranes of the stalks. This is tolerated by the stalks to some degree, although they will also deploy shrill sacks to scare the scrapers away. Shrill sacks to scare the scrapers away.
You ever wanted to just deploy your shrill sack?
To scare scrapers away?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Stalk scrapers seem to be one of the more socially active of the reef creatures and will call to each other when grazing or when frightened. Each specimen has a unique cloud pattern on its shell. I wonder how these are formed and what their significance is within their communities. Food sample analysis requested. Shell sample analysis requested. Study completion request. Oh, you get a drawing.
Ah!
Reef stalk. Reef stalks are fungal life forms which take the form of a series of stalks and plates anchored to rocky substrates. Their chitin exterior ranges in color from dark amber to acidic yellow, leading them to resemble oversized lichen. This outer membrane is marked with slits which expand and contract, producing a distinctive hum. These slits or pores also allow both the release of spores by each colony and the absorption of other colonies' spores. I'm using this term for ease, but are these really seeds or something else? Both the hum and the spore exchange seem to be part of a complex communication network between individual stalk patches or colonies. However, like earth fungi, the visible part of these stalks may only be a small part of their overall mass. What networks might connect these colonies beneath the ground? Sing stalks are towering fungal stalks that, through swaying, produce a distinctive hum or groan, part of the stalk ecology found on the central reef. The precise role of sing stalks is particularly obscure. Their singing seems to connect with the sonic communication between stalks seen from the stalk's use of shrill sacs as an alarm mechanism, but what they are communicating remains unclear. Notably, sing stalks are often coated in sporing fungal growths which release spores as the stalks sway through the water. These spores, released high up in the water column, cover a large area of the reef. There's something tree-like in the structure of the sing stalks, so much that they give the impression of an underwater fungal forest, strange and yet familiar. Bark sample, tissue sample analysis.
And can you imagine like an Abzu version of this game?
Ha. Signal stalks are tall, thin, bubble-coated stalks which are often found beside other stalk colonies. Like other colides, signal stalks have a chitin exterior, but unlike other species, they feature prominent irising pores that allow them to produce large bubbles I've named shrill sacs. Through this, signal stalks act as the protectors of stalk colonies, their shrill sacs breaching when predators approach, resulting in a warning screech that causes nearby stalks to retract. This makes them a target for creatures which graze on the stalks, and only some colonies are able to maintain a signal stalk protector. But how do these stalks produce their bubbles? And what dictates their growth patterns? Further analysis of their physical products and structure should help. Alright, there's the bloom.
Obstruction.
The base has detected a suit transponder at these coordinates. Could this be Monet? We'll have to head into the East Reef to find out. So we can go back out.
Yeah.
And collect samples. And then we can also advance the story. But what do you say we take a quick break?
That's a good idea.
All right, we'll take a break and then we'll be back in a few short minutes. So see you then, chat. Hello, I'm back. We are back.
Welcome back.
So, where do you think? Should we head back to the we should head back to the way station, right? But
I think that's the only place we can launch from.
yeah. Generator running at 34% efficiency. Tidal turbines active. Core stable. Medical subject. None active. Laboratory. Launch bay. Habitat. And communications. We can see Ellery. There she is.
Aw. Moving of her own volition.
Yeah, look at her. She can move around on her own. The hell? A shelf? A cabinet? Maybe? Anyway. Back to work, Dr. Vass.
I think we should head for the suit signal.
All right. Oh yeah, look at that wide rift up there.
Yeah. Are you regretting your choice already? Where you want to go? Are you trying to navigate around the cliffs, or are you like itching for some samples?
Oh, I don't know. Might there be a fossil? Ooh, fossils maybe. Ooh.
Ah, fossils.
Nay.
But what about this rock?
All right, Northern Passage. Protected pass. In the shadow of these huge outcrops, this pass leads north, or leads towards the rift at the north edge of the reef and its fast-moving waters.
Can we just throw ourselves into the crevasse? Let the water currents take us.
From here, the
Become
reef...
part of the carbon cycle.
Oh man, we can dream, can't we? Spores spiral by in the fast-flowing water. What else lies out here? Oh yeah, look at the spores. This side of the shelf is sliced at by the planet's oceanic currents. Look at those flecks of organic material. They're being cycled back into the reef's ecosystem, drifting from unseen places out in the ocean. It must be part of some vast process. Do you think we'll ever understand the cycles of this ocean? Undoubtedly, Dr. Vouse. I hope so too. It's just so intimidating, an entire planet of life, and just us to study it. Well, back the way we came, I guess.
Yeah. Oops, dead end.
Yep. The Central Reef way station lies within a bubble of calm, but just to its north, a massive rift brings strong currents through the reef. Let's go and just take a peek over the edge. The Northern Rift is the largest of the cuts into the Central Reef. Crossing it without some sort of way of navigating its currents would be suicide. Well, let's just take a peek over it. Let's just take a peek. Impressive. The split in the shelf is incredibly wide and deep. Those currents would smash us against the rocks if we swam out into the flow. We're going to need better equipment if we want to cross that monster.
Oh! We're one oopsie away from joining the spores.
Just gone forever. Just take a step out and be like, fuck.
I mean, we don't need her and her fleshy body.
Outside of the shimmering perimeter of the western stalk forest, almost nothing lives or grows on this finger of the reef. Open sand. This western side of the finger becomes increasingly enclosed by rocky outcrops as it leads towards the shallower water. Some ruined equipment lies in the shelter of two boulders. An early way station site, perhaps? Yeah, wow, there's nothing out here. Large, smooth pebbles sit in the sand, and beyond I can see the sun catching the amber terraces of another stalk forest. The soundtrack, very good, very good. Alright, we've had a boo around. I guess we should head out towards the suit. Or the signal.
Yeah, let's juice up. Get our friend back.
Yeah, let's do the objective. But we can get a sample on our way.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Candidate. Yeah.
Another shrill sack. How many shrill sacks do we have?
We need like 20 of them.
Well, let's...
Clearly.
Yeah. Get the thing. Get the thing. We are so packed with shrill sacks. These gullies
Our
lead among
body heavy with screaming bubbles.
laden, gravid. These gullies lead among the tall outcrops of the northern edge to the currents and open waters beyond. Let's make our way east to the source of that transponder signal. I don't know what to expect if the transponder is Minae's. There's some history between us, but I haven't seen her in years, not since... Look, you don't need to worry about it. Let's just find her. Yes, Dr. Vass. Here the gully opens out onto one of the rifts, cutting deep into the bedrock of the reef. The walls here have been smoothed into soft ripples, signs of a strong current descending from the north. Oh! There, look, a cave entrance cut into the side of the rift. It should allow us to bypass the rift, though I'm not sure where we'll emerge.
Spelunking.
Rift edge. Well, here we go then. The round mouth of the cave stretches away into the rock. Stalks hum quietly in the dark. There's a strange evenness to the walls of this cave, almost as if it was a vast borehole drilled into the reef. That's probably fine. That's probably fine, right?
Yeah, that's probably not sentient mushroom worms that eat rock.
The stalks even seem to get down here. Perhaps they are less reliant on sunlight than I initially thought.
Or maybe some large lichen worm that uses its natural acids to eat away at the stone.
Ooh, possible. Let's see, are these... Okay, just reef stalks. Just reef stalks, not signal stalks or... what are the other ones? I wonder how the stalks survive without sunlight. Maybe they are fed by the forest above. What do you think?
Nah, it's poop. They eat poop.
Disagree. It's true that we see no root system, but I don't think that eliminates the possibility. Narrow passage. The cave starts to get tight here, and in the shadows ahead, stalks crowd the tunnel. Well, protecting a small underground colony, this tall stalk signature coating of bubbles glint in the dark. Oh, I bet this is blocked off, and this is just being able to get bubble sacks. Or shrill sacks.
Maybe.
Let's reload.
Nailed it.
Yep. Wait, what's this?
Oh! Oh, she's gonna be like, I told you so.
Different.
Ah.
It's probably
Fly
fine that we
away.
release those here. Different. Weird.
Huh. See, we can also eject our shrill sacks.
Mm-hmm. Bright light from the east of this large cavern is broken up by tall pillars casting strips of light and dark across the smooth walls. These pillars punctuate the cavern, stalks crowded around their bases. They support the vast weight of the reef above. What that? What you? Sporing stalk. These domed stalks are pumping out clouds of short-lived spores. They look like oversized mushrooms. These stalks are filling the water with spores. We should start logging information on them.
Graphic.
Lewd.
Hope no children are watching.
Disgusting. Ooh, these both fungal
Ooh.
and signal.
Maybe they're better bubbles.
These spores are different. The stalks nearby seem to be stimulated by them. Could these spores used to make stalks extend to bring them out of hiding? We should test them on a retracted colony. Yeet!
You're just hoping they have a good life?
Yeah, just... Alright. It blocked it. Your hypothesis seems to be correct, Dr. Vass. The spores from these stalks dissolve moments after they are released. These stalks seem to be shriveling up. Is it because they are too exposed to the rift's withering currents? Let's go and investigate. Oh, this is where she wanted me to throw them.
Oh. Ooh. Well.
Still no dialogue, though. Yeet!
I have made life! Uh-oh.
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 We're
We
probably
used all our
fine.
baby-making juice.
Yeah, that's fine, though. That's probably okay. See, we can get more. We can get more NP.
More stocks.
There's one thing I know, it's that this stuff is cheap. Glittering stock. Oh.
Might be more shrill spores.
Mm-hmm. Another rift. How can you cross it? The current here is so strong.
Clog it with spores!
Currents slice down through the rift from the north here. Crossing is going to be difficult unless their flow can be slowed further up. The far side of the cavern narrows into darkness. I can feel the faint pulse of a distant current ahead. A current must have once run down this tunnel, scraping the walls into smooth lines. Now the stalks block the flow.
Good for them.
Yeah. Good for her. The tunnel ahead is thick with stalks, scraping the ceiling with their rounded tips. Light filters in from a large opening, making the stalks drifting in the water glitter like sparks. Look, those stalks in the cave mouth, they're retracted. Perhaps if we could make them extend, they would block the current. A worthy enterprise, Dr. Vass. The cave mouth ahead leaves this passage exposed to the full force of the northern current. Blocking it somehow will help us pass. They block the current. These spores encourage them to extend and fill the tunnel. With these soothe spores, we can control the stalks to our advantage. This will be useful. Get it.
Oh, I see spore sites to the south.
Ooh. Accurate. Tucked into the rift wall, the shelf allows protection from the fast-flowing current cutting through the rock into the heart of the reef. Look, out in the rift, a retracted stalk colony. If we can get them to extend, they'll provide shelter from the current. Yeet! A handful of stalks cling to the rift wall here, blown into spiraling shapes by the rushing currents. Quickly, then. Quick like a bunny. Spattered with spores, the wall here feels the full force of the current. Can it be slowed upstream somehow? Even this close to the wall, the darkness of the deep rift is intimidating. A huge slit in the face of this world. How deep does it go?
Only we had some sort of instruments.
Yeah, some kind of thing that would allow us to determine that. There we go. A huge pillar sits out from the wall here, its top caked in retracted stalks, a golden garden waiting to emerge. Brain too big. This small opening in the wall provides a little shelter from the howling rift, allowing some stalks to take up root here. We are across. Thank you, stalks. Oh, and thanks to you too.
Wow. Doesn't even give us a name.
In the demo that came out a couple of years ago, she asked you, she gives you a name and asks you if it's okay, and you can either go yes or no. I always just answered yes. A circle of warm light shows this tunnel opens out onto the upper shelf of the East Rift. What lies above?
Going up.
What are you? Bright petals. These wide, bright petals appear to be photosynthetic plants. These are beautiful plants, single petals shifting in sunlight. Let's start logging data on them. They float on long stems, shifting and swaying in the water. Stalk canopy. These stalks are twisted together into a huge canopy. Incredible. They're pulsing as the spores across their surface open and close, or pores. These canopies are spectacular. I'll start logging observations. Let's see what we can find out about them. Away we go. Feels good to be out in the sunlight again. Let's head northeast along this finger of the reef. The transponder is at the tip. Plant and seed.
They do look like little tiny spiky pollens.
They do. While each plant seems to have a single wide petal, they group together forming fields of blooms all angled towards the sun. The fractured outcrops all around break up the worst of the northern current, protecting this sandy shelf. A colony of stalks has twisted itself tightly across this gap in the rocks. Could they be protecting something? Yeah, we've got a shrill sack.
Yeah.
What is? Where the rock shelf has fallen away into the rift, the roots of the canopy above have been exposed. We could sample here. Yes. Gib sample.
It's one for me, and one for me.
Fungal and root.
Oh!
Root of a stalk canopy made of many twisted filaments.
Did we click on the seed one to see what the seeds are?
Oh, right. Furred pollen extracted from petals in the east reef.
I can feel my sinuses clenching.
Yeah, look at that. There's another way station. Bright petals. The petals seem to shimmer as they twist and open. It is difficult to tell if this is involuntary or part of the plant's own movement. The outcrops on this shelf are cut through with huge cracks as if they were shattered somehow. What could have done this? The stalks have grown across this gully, reconnecting the two huge pieces of rock that look like they must have once been one. Actually, no. Let's see if there's another way around before we use our last shrill sack.
Yeah.
Oh, stalk canopy. The coloration of these canopies is much lighter than the other stalks. They glow pale yellow in the light of Gliesa 667cc's 3 suns. More stalk canopies. High up in the wide canopy, I can see that the stalks are twisted around strange ribbed growths. What are they holding up there? On some petals, there is a thick clump of pollen on the lower part. I wonder how this is dispersed. It seems too heavy to float away. Shimmer blooms. Wide, singing, single petal plants that come in a variety of hues. I'm going to name these plants shimmer blooms for the way they catch the sunlight. I wish I could share these discoveries with Monet. There's still so much to say. They appear to be primarily photosynthetic and produce a heavy, furry-looking pollen.
Don't worry, Doctor. We're almost to Monet. Then you can talk to her and share all your stuff.
Is this another pollen? It is. Okay. This canopy has many gaps between its higher stalks, as if something has fallen out or been removed from it. There's a definite correlation between struggling stalk colonies and these sporing stalks. Are they helping to support the colonies? Fed by spores shielded by a colony of stalks, this part of the reef seems to have fostered the ideal conditions for its own survival. Is that another way station ahead? Monet must have built them all across the reef. Well, let's investigate, Doctor. In the center of the shelf is a beautiful clearing, screened from currents and predators. No wonder Monet set up a way station here. table stock, towering canopies of stalks entwined around ribbed growths. I've named these table stalks after the table corals they remind me of. I'll log my notes back at the base. They pulse as their pores systematically open and close. Or, wait. No going back! Okay, open up the terminal, see what data we can scrape from this place. Power. Map data. Sync complete. Data released to pilot's console. The log suggests Monet was using this as some kind of staging ground for expeditions over the drop-off. She was looking for something out in the ocean. Something deep from the descent she logged here. Monet doesn't do things at random. The way stations, the research base, this is calculated. I feel like we are already 10 steps behind her and we've barely even started. Let's get to that suit transponder. It isn't far from here. If we head straight north to the shelf's edge, it should be there.
So, how many days for retirement was Monet?
2 weeks. Domed mushroom-like stalks which appear to support struggling stalk colonies with a supply of special spores. With a strong resemblance to terrestrial mushrooms, I'm going to call these reef caps. What about here? Oh!
We have space in our little sample holder.
We can probably get rid of something. Stalk bark, stalk spore. Probably don't need all of these. Goodbye! What are you? Soothe spores. Okay. Actually, do we have any soothe spores? We do not. Let's grab one.
Grabby accomplished.
From the cover of this canopy, I can see a series of tall pillars out into the east, each one topped with a garden of unknown life. Well, I suppose we should go back and investigate the corpse.
What if the suit's empty? Like... maybe she grew gills.
I mean, let's hope. Or would that be worse?
If she's a fish person now?
I mean,
Depends on if we can communicate or not, I guess. Probably can't make out anymore. I'm
Probably.
assuming that's what they did back in college.
It does seem to be the implication, doesn't it? At this tip of the shelf, the outcrops fall away to reveal an unrestricted view of the vast ocean. It is both terrifying and beautiful. I see something at the edge. Is that the suit? Monet's suit, open, empty, and half sunk in sand. Why would she leave it here? And more importantly, where did she go? It's definitely Monet's suit, but no Monet. Surely she isn't... Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. I want to take a look at this. Can't have been here long. Most of it is still in good condition, but how did it get out here? There's no evidence of injury. A malfunction, perhaps? What do you think? That does seem likely.
What do you think? Yes or no?
But then where is she? Could she have swum to the surface? Did she just intend us to find it? Monet, what did you get yourself into here? It's better equipped than our suit, but the seals have started decaying. What's this? Monet has rigged up some kind of custom propulsion system, probably to deal with the currents. We can use this. We'll need a power source. It won't run off the suit system. Seems like she fashioned some kind of microbial fuel cell. We'll need to recreate that if we want to use it. Okay, let's get this back to base so I can take a better look. Monet, you better not have done something stupid. I didn't come all the way out here to bury you. Let's go. Call for drone pickup. Back with me? Yes. Good to hear. Let me update you. I've spent the past few hours working on Monet's suit. Bad news is the majority of it is unusable. Apart from that propulsion system Monet pulled together, but we are going to need a power source. Monet's suit log mentions her building a fuel cell using microbes from the Western Reef. But they don't say much else. She's been incredibly secretive while she was here, covering her tracks across the reef as if someone was watching, or she's just... I don't know. The Monet I knew is tricky, complicated, but not paranoid. Either way, if we want to recreate her propulsion system, we'll need those microbes. When you're ready, let's head to the Western Stock Force and see what we can find. Monet is gone and she's left behind one hell of a mess. This base is falling apart, cannibalized to build waste stations out in the ocean, the communications array sliced away, life support failing. Where did she even commandeer this research base from? There's no way Baikal would have supplied it willingly after what she did to them. Oh hey, that...
Got a raid from Engineering and the Plaid Squad.
Hey Plaid Posse, what's up? Morty. We're playing In Other Waters today. What did she call me out here for? To witness her disappearance, or did she simply want me to encounter as she did, the impossible life of the ocean? How could it have gone ignored for hundreds of years of exploration and conquest? There are too many questions to even begin. All I can do is keep an account of what happens here, so that if I can't answer these questions, someone else might. It'll be weeks, maybe months, until the next ship passes close enough to pick up my shuttle transponder. Until then, I'm alone. This place is unbelievably important, our first contact with life beyond Earth. But something else is happening here too, and I need to know what it is. Monet's suit, open to the ocean, empty. What has she done? I'm trying hard to reconcile the Monet I knew with the evidence in front of me. When I met her on Kepler 62F, she was intense and quiet, but calculated, intelligent. She wasn't someone to take unnecessary risks, to leap into the unknown. At first, I found her impossibly intimidating. Her experience working as a biologist far outstripped my own. Baikal brought me to the site as a consultant to examine her discoveries, but I felt like the one under examination. The base was much like this one, a smaller, older model sunk in a subglacial ocean. Someone might think a relationship was inevitable given those intimate conditions, but it wasn't the base that brought me to her. It was that intensity. Over the few years since I've tried not to dwell on what happened on Kepler 62F, but being here, living where she has lived, following her scattered steps, it's impossible not to remember.
So where can we dump inventory?
Probably the
Sample
lab.
store? Is that in the bay? There was
Yeah.
sample store.
Oh,
Aha! Little fishies go in the tank.
yeah. Oh, they even stack. That's
Ah.
humane. Laboratory. Oh, Ellery is here. Huh.
Yeah,
Lab
gotta
analysis
spin the
complete.
things.
Table stock updated. Further analysis possible.
might need another one.
Oh. Multiple taxonomic things updated. Okay, and this one we need more stuff of, I'm going to guess. Oh, so the bark updated both the stalk scraper and I'm going to guess the other stalks. Analysis of stalk bark shows that it is chitin-based, as suspected, containing glucose and high levels of polysaccharides. This makes it an ideal food source for the scrapers, but not only this, it makes the stalk membranes a vital substance for lichen scraper shell formation. The more stalk membrane consumed, the larger and thicker a scraper shell will become, which explains the variance in scraper shell size and translucency. Going further, shells may also be markers of a stalk scraper's importance within the community. A larger shell means more effective grazer, and therefore a more preferable partner. Further analysis of scraper shells is needed to continue this line of inquiry.
Gotta get that thick scraper shell.
Just an invincible dump truck shell. Oh my. Analysis of stalk spores has revealed a rich cocktail of compounds unique to each spore, some of which are previously unknown to human chemistry. This aspect of the spores and their noticeable exchange between colonies of stalks suggests that these chemical cocktails are part of an information exchange network. However, some of these spores also appear to be true spores, used for asexual reproduction of stalk colonies, suggesting that the information-carrying spores are adapted or modified reproductive spores. Analysis also suggests that stalk colonies may possess a high level of intelligence and cognition, and that the messaging provided by the spores is nuanced, and even subjectively unique to each colony. Patterns across multiple spores from a single colony even suggest a chemical signature possessed by each stalk group. Could these be thought of as stalk names? Close analysis of stalk root networks reveals something surprising. The root networks are in fact part of a symbiote, a different fungal species entirely which exists within the stalk bodies. This fungal symbiote provides a carbon exchange network which runs throughout the bedrock of the reef, connecting all colonies in a single web. This symbiote also produces the spores which the stalks use to communicate, but these spores are edited by the stalks themselves to act as reproductive agents, information carriers, and chemical delivery systems. If the stalks are able to edit the genetic signatures of these spores and their parent species, their intelligence and complexity must be way beyond what I previously theorized. Close analysis of stalk spore language could reveal an entire corpus of communication. Are there stalk jokes, stalk histories, even stalk literature? Neat.
Gross.
Analysis of the stalk bark sample has given some new insights into the sing stalks. Their entire biology is compressed into the chitin plates that surround each specimen. They are completely hollow. In fact, rather than being a single large stalk, sing stalks are actually many spirally entwined stalks which weave together to form a pillar-like shell. The scraping of these stalks as they move against one another produces the stalk's harmonic hum, which may not be a form of communication with other colonies as first thought, and instead a kind of internal metronome, there to synchronize the movements of each individual stalk within the weave of stalks. But if the sing stalks are the bark that surrounds them, this brings with it a new question. What do sing stalks contain? Further analysis is needed.
Ooh.
Analysis of a table stalk root shows a number of minerals not associated with stalk growth being extracted from the bedrock. Do the table stalks need these minerals to survive, or are they using them for some other purpose? A cross-section of the root shows a central chamber typical of the carbon transfer system seen in other stalks. But unlike those stalks, table stalks have many subsidiary chambers, like a bundle of wires, each carrying a particular cocktail of mineral compounds. These secondary roots are not drawing up large amounts of these materials, just traces. But why? Perhaps there is some connection to these growths in the upper canopies of the table stalks. They are well secured by the stalk's tight binding, but perhaps we can find one that has been dislodged.
Huh.
Shimmer blooms. Shimmer blooms are single-petaled plants found primarily in the sheltered waters of the East Reef. As they produce pollen as well as photosynthesize, I have classified the visible portion of these plants as petals, though they could also be thought of as leaves, serving both functions simultaneously. Shimmer blooms can be green, like most terrestrial plants, however they can also be found to be yellow, red, or purple in color. The image of a patch of blooms is a beautiful one. As they shift in soft currents, they often seem to shimmer. The lower part of their single petal features many small stamens which produce a fluffy, clumped pollen. Analysis of this pollen may provide some insight into their life cycle. Laboratory analysis of shimmer bloom pollen reveals it to be a heavy, sticky substance atypical for waterborne distribution. Unlike on terrestrial plants like seagrass, whose pollen is distributed by water currents and is therefore long and light, shimmer bloom's spherical, heavy pollen seems intended to resist distribution by the current and must instead be distributed by creatures who visit the blooms. The reason for this may be the shimmer bloom's tendency to grow on exposed shelves or pillars, which would risk lightweight, water-transported pollen being sucked into the deep ocean, rather than being distributed to viable sites. By relying on creature transport, bloom pollen has a better chance of reaching another sunlit shelf or pillar. Neat. Shoot sample analysis required.
So we're looking at like a parrotfish or some other kind of fish that eats them.
Yeah.
Sort of like underwater bees.
What do we got going on here? Do we want to take another quick break?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. We'll be back in five-ish minutes, chat. See you then. Hello, everyone. I'm back.
As am I.
Hooray! Shall we head out again, then?
Yeah.
All right. So we need to find more things.
Yeah, let's head to the sample sites that it was thrown in our face earlier.
Yeah. Actually, one more thing. I just want to check to see if we can analyze the spores. Because these have been pretty abundant, right?
Yeah, we can probably put them back in our inventory afterwards, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we totally can.
Perfect.
Oh, and then we can also look at the updated taxonomy.
Ooh!
Shrill sac laboratory analysis shows that they are formed from a coating of mucus sealed around a pressurized mix of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The oxygen shows that the signal stalks are able to absorb oxygen from their surroundings, perhaps through the large pores. Meanwhile, the CO2 must be the result of fermentation process within the stalk itself. This suggests the presence of a fungal symbiote similar to yeast within the stalk, and the possible production of ethanol as a byproduct of this process, though a tissue sample will be necessary to confirm this. Shrill sac production, meanwhile, seems to be a precise art. The pressurization, gas mix, and size of each shrill sac can differ from stalk to stalk, meaning that warnings can be directed to particular colonies and even individual stalks if necessary.
Sweet.
Soothe spores, the name by which I have come to call the reef cap spores, don't seem to be spores at all. Unlike the modified spores of other stalks, these particles don't have any reproductive capacity. Instead, they resemble endospores, dormant bacteria reduced to dried husks which can survive for hundreds of years in toxic environments without nutrients. Endospores are incredibly tough and high in calcium, and when released by the reef caps, they dissolve and transfer this calcium to the surrounding environment where it is absorbed by the local stalks. This windfall of calcium granted by the cap soothe spores seems to allow stalks to augment their internal signaling and toughen their membrane to protect from predators, allowing them to recover rapidly. But the question remains, how do the reef caps produce these endospores? What wonderful what wonderful world building. Ah. Well, let's head out then.
Yeah. So if these mushrooms are brewing their own moonshine, does that mean they might be like a little explosive?
Possibly? I mean, if the shrill sacks don't get built correctly, I assume they can just blow up. Across the open sand, I can see the faint shapes of stalk colonies rising up in ordered rows. Glittering stalk. Well, we can get some more, shrill stalks. Or shrill sacks, excuse me. Minet's map data mentions a microbe which only occurs in the stalk forest. If we can find 4 healthy colonies, it will make the ideal basis for the propulsion system's fuel cell.
Guess we gotta huck a sack.
Huck that sack. The music reminds me a lot of, well, I suppose it's very 70s kind of synth influenced, but it reminds me more recently of the music from, God, Twin Stick Shooter. Top down, pixel art, came out about 3 years ago. You wear like a little mask and you've got a sword. Hyperlight Drifter.
Ah.
Just the certain qualities of the synth. Bloated stalk. These stalks bulge out from their bases, forming rounded, pulsing growths that look discolored and stretched. I've started logging data on these strange inflated stalks. They look ill.
We're pregnant.
Gravid. What are those strange inflated stalks? They look like the sporing growths we found in the eastern caves, but there's something wrong with them. We need to break them open somehow so we can sample the microbial colony inside. Let's see if they respond to the shrill sacks. Ew. Something's infecting the stalks. Spark colony, toxic microbial colony found inside a bloated stalk. We've got one, but the clouds of microbes these stalks release are incredibly toxic. The suit is having to flush its vents with oxygen to protect me. We've lost a lot of reserve oxygen. We're going to need to be fast when sampling these bloats. Let's get another 3 colonies. But be careful, I don't want to run out of oxygen out here.
We could always call for a pickup while we're up here.
Yeah. Well, let's grab another shrill sack. How many do we have? Okay, we've got 3. That should be enough. Well, we might need more, actually, to get through.
Yeah. Ah.
There we go. There we go.
Well, gotta get in it.
Ew.
Immerse yourself in the bacterial waters.
It's so yellow.
You know what that means.
Hmm. There's something different about the growth patterns in this forest. The ones further south were more chaotic, but these stalks are almost arranged in avenues or terraces. Do you think they might be protecting something? It's a possibility. But what would they be fortifying? And why all the diseased bloats? Are we damaging this colony by disturbing them? Okay, we've got to go back and get more...
Shrill sacks?
Yeah, shrill sacks.
But what about where we were just now? Isn't there a stalk there?
Was there? There wasn't a sampling, though. There wasn't a sampling prompt. Oh wait, no, you were right. There is a prompt here. My bad. How did I miss that? Oh well. Yeet.
Then we can just casually trash this colony.
Yeah.
Oh, target sighted.
All right. Just very, very quick. Quick like bunny. Quick like bunny.
Got him.
There's the last one that we'll need.
I thought we only needed 3. Or was it 3 more past the...
3 more. Yeah, this isn't really a survival game. There was a lot of... Like, when I first talked about wanting to play this game, people were like, it sounds like a Subnautica ripoff. And... it's not remotely.
Yeah, I'm not currently horrified by a fish leaping in my face. Really don't get the sense that there's anything with big teeth lurking somewhere.
Great, now we have plenty of those microbial colonies, but where did this infection come from? These stalks seem to be struggling to deal with it. Or is this just part of their expected life cycle? What do you think? I don't think this is part of their life cycle. I agree, this feels like a rare event, an epidemic perhaps. But what is the source? Either way, let's bring these back to the base as soon as we can. We can always analyze these samples there. Call in the pickup. Yes, Dr. Vass. Hey, you ready to get back to work? I think so. Great, because I've had a very productive few hours. I've been working on that propulsion system. I've used those 4 microbial samples to grow a new colony in the lab. Then I transferred it to a secure containment capsule, nice and snug. I followed what I could from Minea's notes on building a microbial fuel cell. It's all loaded onto the suit. The MFC fed directly from our reserve oxygen supply. Now we just need to take the suit out for a dive to test it. It's going to take plenty of oxygen to fuel the colony, so bring any samples that'll help out. But make sure not to take any we haven't put through the analysis on the lab level first. I don't want to burn through hours of research material just to get a power boost. This propulsion system will let us pass through strong currents and move more quickly. I would really not want to restart my computer right now, thank you. We should be able to cut across that rift north of the way station finally. We're ready whenever you are. Sleuth spores, alright. Let's get these things analyzed. We read this.
What?
Lab analysis error. No relevant taxonomy entries found. Unclassified.
What about that little upper corner one?
Oh, this is the same. This is the.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Analysis of the stalk spores has revealed a rich cocktail of compounds unique to each spore, some of which are previously unknown to human chemistry. Right. Is this a bug? We had this last time we were here,
Yeah.
but it's marked as
sketch.
unread now.
Yeah, let's grab the samples, put them back in our, I guess, inventory. So
Yeah.
we can get the go fast juice out of them.
Hmm. Yes, GC, we just did.
It errored out.
Yeah.
There was no taxonomy related to it, so it didn't go
With-
anywhere.
Okay, we should be able to cross this now. Let's head out. Okay, so you'll find the controls and the utilities where sampling and everything else is. Once you've found the propulsion system, let's try it out. But remember, it uses oxygen. Be careful. When you've got the hang of it, let's try to cross the Northern Rift. Wow, that burned a lot of oxygen.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the way station and fuel up again. Okay. Okay. That's how it works. Okay, that seems straightforward enough. We click on the buttons. There's something on the other side, a huge green cloud rising up from the shelf. That must be the bloom. This looks bad.
It doesn't look like we recover any oxygen if you turn off the propulsion, so...
Oh, okay. I guess, yeah, it just probably uses the entire cell. This is a very different game from Nauticrawl, Aegeus of Ender. This is kind of like a point-and-click adventure game, whereas Nauticrawl was a... how do you even classify Nauticrawl? It was very focused on resource acquisition and expenditure, and efficient movement.
Yeah.
Oh, the water inside is totally anoxic. The rebreather can't function. We'll have to rush on... Okay. Oh, it's eating our oxygen.
But there's a little nice bright patch there. And
Okay.
we're fine.
Okay, we found a node. There's still life hanging... There's life still hanging on the insides. Okay. Perhaps these creatures can help us learn how to exist in these toxic conditions. Let's take some samples and see what effects they have on the bloom when we deploy them. Microbial. Colonial.
The spoiler, it's green because it's nasty, not because we're deeper down.
Fan dust. Bloom oxygenating dust, harvested from a filtering fan. Actually, before we yeet it, let's see where we're even trying to go.
Oh, made a little bubble for us.
Pale fan. Occasionally this fan shivers, releasing a flurry of green growths that have gathered among its gossamer spines.
So if you yeet one at the target point, it probably makes the target point safe.
Yeah, there's some kind of shelled creature hiding in the silt over there. We need to figure out how to tempt it out of its burrow. Perhaps a sample from elsewhere in the bloom, something that reacts with microbial growth itself? Oh, look at that.
Huh.
Where have you gone to? Well, was thinking about it and then didn't.
Weird.
The bloom is vast. What could cause and sustain these processes on such a scale? With the oxygen gone, the microbes here must be metabolizing some other substance in order to persist. That does seem accurate, Doctor. Okay, where to next? Another bivalve.
maybe you gotta scare them up so you can analyze them.
Yeah, that seems correct. Yeah, look at that. Hmm. 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 Ooh, blue. Okay, nothing there.
Huh.
But there were other paths.
Yeah, I think going straight northwest to that like flower-shaped hole.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good call. Good call. There's the one. Another bivalve. Steady. Steady.
Let's disturb it. Let's bother the wildlife.
Hmm.
What actually happens if we run out of oxygen?
I assume it calls for a drone pickup. Hmm. Hmm. Because we went all around this and there wasn't anything there.
Yeah, but there was roots off of it.
Was there? Okay, let's head back then. Oh wait, we can just... Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah.
We can just dump it right in. Well, alright then, gamers. Where to from here? Up here, I think, was the... There was a fork up here? Yes.
Yeah. like their little upset noises.
Yeah, they're very squeaky. Bivalve Bloomvein, a fan-finned creature which conceals itself within a shell as a form of protection. These strange little creatures are getting a big name. Bivalve Bloomveins. What do you think? I like it too. You can log them into the taxonomy back at the base. Ooh. Oh wait, there was something to sample back there.
Yeah.
Animal?
Ooh.
Shell?
Our very own bivalve.
Hmm. Oh, we're fine, chat. We're fine. We're fine. Blue flashes flicker across the shattered strata of rock. Or, a sickly pale green light filters down onto the rocks.
Blue.
Blue?
Blue.
Keep going. Don't let human die.
I mean, even if we do, no one will ever know.
Looks like we're getting... Oh, there's another way station out here. That's perfect. These strange forms scattered around inside the bubble. Are those skeletons? They resemble radiolarians, but far bigger in scale. They're incredibly ornate. A colony of shattered domes lying in the silvery silt. What were these creatures? Within these complex transparent structures, the blurred activity of many individual creatures can be seen. These swarms of bright creatures providing vital safe zones in the bloom. Let's start logging data on them. Finally, a way station. With this active, we can call for retrieval across the bloom. Useful when we run low on oxygen. Oh! Open the terminal and we can resupply. Dr. Vast, did you see that?
No. What happened?
It just emitted a series of, like, a cloud of organisms. Okay, I've got her logs here. A lot of trips back and forth between here and a laboratory? That means she must have set up a remote lab somewhere deeper into the bloom. She spent months making trips to it, ferrying some materials from elsewhere in the bloom to there. She was studying something important to her. We have to find that lab. I'll log the coordinates on the dive map when we get back to base. I guess we call for pickup.
Yeah.
See? There it did it again.
Aha! Yeah. It's a real gassy.
Yeah, it's a farty boy.
Yeah. It's a way to claim your space.
So, what do I really like about this game so far? I like the asynchronicity, or the fact that we seem to experience time at a different rate than Dr. Vass.
Really?
Well, she's always asking, like, hey, you've been gone for a while, are you still there? Whenever we encounter one of these transitions. Seems unlikely.
Did you ever play Lifeline, the iOS game?
I did not.
Where you control an astronaut through dialogue
Oh, really?
by making suggestions.
Yet these creatures have rapidly and effectively adapted to these conditions. How is that possible? There's something we aren't seeing. Something Monet was investigating too. Do you think she knows something we don't? Undoubtedly. She has to. Maybe she's holed up in the lab mentioned in the map data waiting for us. Let's find that lab. So, yeah, I'm sorry, the game where you control an astronaut through dialogue?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the astronauts crash landed on, I guess, the moon or Mars or something like that. And you get dialogue choices, and then, like, the next day in real time, you get more options.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, sample analyses. Bivalve. I also really enjoy that we perceive the world quite differently from Dr. Vass. Okay. Bivalve taxonomy. Can we get any more information out of this now? Apparently not.
Well,
Still don't know what these spark spores are.
gotta click on more.
Yep.
So yeah, the very clean aesthetic of the game is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's very uncomplicated to look at.
Well, and it's very unthreatening too. Right? Like, I think one of the big differences between this and the one that we were talking about a little while ago. You're underwater.
Nauticrawl?
Not a crawl. Subnautica. Is that this is not full of menace. Right? Subnautica is very scary.
Yeah.
Or well, it can be, right? Because you're perceiving it as a human. But this interface makes you, it encourages curiosity rather than a fear response, right? Like,
Yeah.
this environment would be very scary, I think, if you were perceiving it through your meat eyes. But Dr. Vass is, like, apparently, quite reasonably well trained. And seems very, like, calm and reasoned, and that rubs off on you. She doesn't panic at all. Like, when her oxygen supply is getting low, she seems to trust you quite a lot.
Yeah, she's not sitting there nagging you, being like, AI, AI,
Yeah.
AI.
So, like, there's this shared feeling of, this feeling of confidence that lends this feeling of competence, which lends to this sense of curiosity, right? And yeah, once again, this very clean interface, I think, really supports that.
And we've got, like, very large margins on our, like, survival needs.
Mm.
Like, when you're moving around, it doesn't consume a lot of your meter.
Yeah.
So it's more like you keep an eye on those things, because when they're running out, it's probably time to go take your samples back for analysis.
But, like, you know that you can call in for a drone pickup, right? Like if your power runs out, or if your oxygen runs out, you just call for a drone and you'll be fine. Presumably. Like, you can call for a drone anywhere. At least from what I've seen. But, like, I really enjoy that, the way the UI contributes to the feel of this game. Right?
Do you want to go park us out in a toxic zone so I can see what happens if we do run out?
Sure. Why do you need to call for a drone if you're an AI? Presumably because the drone, that's how you call it.
Yeah, so we can keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah, what does happen if we let Dr. Vass's oxygen supply run out? Because we were very close. Right? We were at, like, less than 5% on the dial.
Right. Oh, we could probably fuel our propulsion.
Okay, yeah.
Take a chunk out. Just like fast forward to asphyxiation. All right.
Okay, let's see what happens. The suit is shutting down. Pilot at risk. Operator override active. Extracting suit. Locating safe zone. Rebooting. Yeah, it just seems to take you back to the waypoint or way station.
Yeah.
What happened?
So there you go.
Are you back online? I am. Good. I think the suit's preservation protocols kicked in and brought us back to this way station. That was lucky. Please, I need you to keep an eye on our oxygen and power. Let's not do that again. Now, where were we?
So we get a little reprimanded.
Yeah. And I also do like that we aren't... I was wrong when I said we were the AI controlling the suit. I mean, we are an AI controlling the suit, but this is... One of the first things she says to us is that we aren't the normal dive AI. We're a different one. We're something else that's been grafted onto this suit.
Because the suit's old AF and shouldn't have an AI as intelligent as us.
Yeah, so we're from something else. And, I mean, the very first thing we see in the game is that we are being shut down and having our memory erased. So, you know, we know where the previous scientist... We know what happened to the previous scientist, or we knew what happened to the previous scientist. But who knows what circumstances led her to erase our memory, and what happened to her after that. So I would love to be able to come back to this.
Yeah?
But is there anything you want to tackle in the upcoming weeks, Corey, right away?
Not right away, no.
Okay, do you want to come back to this next week then?
Let's do that.
All right. That sounds really great, because I don't know, I feel very happy with this game. And it's not terribly long. I think we're about a third of the way through already.
It probably uses her personal logs as like chapter markers.
Yeah, that seems actually reasonable. Maybe a quarter of the way through the game. Well, let's look at what we've got here. Seems like a small bug here where it keeps refreshing the
Unread.
The reef stock is unread. Bivalve bloom vein. I think Ellery Vass has she's done this before where she seems to like tongue twisters.
Oh, yeah.
Bloom veins conceal themselves in bronze-colored shells most of the time, only coming out when the opportunity to feed presents itself. Highly attuned to the currents and flows of the bloom, bivalve bloom veins take advantage of any break in the bloom's flow to unfold from their shells and feed. They feed primarily on the bloom's microbial growth itself, able to quickly establish and maintain a feeding zone of oxygenated water. When a bloom vein tires, it will then retreat back into its shell, burying itself in the silt once more. I would like to understand more about how the bloom veins are able to feed directly on the microbes of the bloom, considering the extremely high toxicity. Perhaps something we uncover here could be useful for future expeditions into the unforgiving landscapes of the bloom. After being lucky enough to come across an entire bloom vein shell, analysis has provided some possible explanations for the creature's neurotoxin resistance. The shell itself was found to have radial patterns of tiny holes in certain areas, all of which were found to have a high concentration of the bloom neurotoxin. It seems that when the bloom vein is in its hidden resting state, it exudes the neurotoxin through its shell, processing the glucose and the bloom growths separately. This exuded neurotoxin coats the bloom vein shell and the surrounding area, making the creatures potentially deadly to any predator. This adaptation to the bloom is therefore a highly effective defense mechanism, even if the bloom vein itself is constantly on the edge of a frenzied, neurotoxin-induced death. Interesting. Well, I suppose we should thank subs.
Yeah. Guess we can start with Mola Molafant, who subbed for 19 months.
And then eBlock gave us 250 bits, saying, first saw this on another stream and looking forward to your takes on it, Corey and Cameron.
Original Garwolf, 39 months. This sub is brought to you by Explorers Anonymous. To join in our next meeting, fly to 54.3 degrees west by 19.5 degrees north to code the tablet of Karuth and then charter a flight to Morocco.
Sakiel1 came back for the 76th month, saying, you're going to love this, Cam. Have fun. Thank you.
The one called Stu, 61 months. Thank you.
30 Feet of Cubic Salsa subscribed for the 27th month. 27 months. It's almost 1 April 2020. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you.
Modrin, 42 months. Nice.
Dr. Nick resubbed for the 72nd month, saying, Cam, my sub is now 6 years old. Do I legally have to homeschool it now? No, socialize it.
Fellow Traveler Games subs thanks to the Maricat. Thank you, the Maricat.
Jump Over the Age just subscribed thanks to the Maricat. Thank you very much.
Stock just subscribed thanks to the Maricat.
Fungi just subscribed thanks to the Maricat.
Lucas Boone, 44 months. Ooh, what's this? Wait a minute. What is this, actually?
Mr. Evermore just subbed. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for deciding to support us.
Gaz L is also a new subscriber. Welcome.
Xanto69 gave us 50 bits, saying, thank you.
And Grunkus Dunkus, 31 months. I love you, goobers.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, any other thoughts at this point? The UI really encourages you to be curious because it strips out all the stupid meat brain menace. But I'm sure...
Really word heavy.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how our sensory differences with our human crew manifest later on in the game, because that's definitely a space I would explore if I was building this game. Would be like, if I perceive the world differently, then what does that mean?
I'm curious to see if we'll run into other people, so we'll have other scientists interact with that can have conflict, or there's one more technology slot on our suit, and I really wonder what that does.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that's some kind of she did mention something about something that would allow us to navigate toxic environments. And I wonder if it's related to that. but
Yeah.
who can tell? Who can tell? And I know that at some point I've seen screenshots of this game where the map space is black
Oh.
and everything is
we
ray
found
traced out
green.
in red.
We found the green zone.
Yeah. So at some point we go down to some place where there's no longer sunlight, and that seems interesting. But we're going to wrap up the stream here, and then Ben is going to be in the studio in about half an hour to play Brain. What was it? I installed it. I forget the name of the game. But the Nope Boys will be joining you very shortly. So stick around for that.
Paranormal HK.
Paranormal HK, yes. So that seems like good fun. And then Corey and I will be back with more In Other Waters next week. And I look forward to seeing you all then.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, just have a good one. Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, take care of one another, everybody. Have a good afternoon.